2022 will be the last year we'll see the DPIs, and the first without GTLM. Today I'm going to talk about most of these classes in a preview of the Daytona 24. Mazda pulled out from DPI this year, and we won't see them in the next few years, having confirmed that they will not join the LMDH party, which is set to start in 2023. This leaves 2 Acuras and 5 Cadillacs to fight over the top class win in 2022, with the Wayne Taylor Racing Acura being the favorite. Having won the last 3 runnings of the 24 on the high banks, only the last of those with an Acura. They already gave themselves a small head start after storming from last to first in class in the qualifying race last week. Although not without some sweat, it was way closer than the results made it look like. Westies seemed to have the pace advantage, especially in the infield, but couldn't manage an overtake due to unlucky traffic and a significant lack of top speed. It'll be interesting how the higher downforce approach of GDC Miller Motorsports will pan out over the 24 hours. The gap only grew to 8 seconds with the last lap Ricky Taylor style lunge into T1. On Ricky Taylor himself. This didn't end well for the British driver, sending himself into a spin.
GT Daytona Corvette, here's Westbrook, looks down the inside, he's there, he's on alongside, there's a touch and he spins! Westbrook spins!
For LMP2, it's unpredictable as always. 10 teams will start the race in search of the win, featuring some impressive names, with last year's LMP2 Le Mans winner Freddie Habsburg and the WEC LMP2 Pro-Am champions Racing Team Nederland. LMP3 is a bit hard to judge, since the drivers are mostly not well-known rookies making their first steps in prototypes, and the fact that only 3 of 10 cars finish where they should be makes it even harder to judge. The rest of them retired, spun, or got lost somewhere in the GT field, I guess. At least we don't have the awkward situation this year, where GTLMs and LMP3s were constantly tripping over each other due to similar speed. Which brings me on to the GTs. 1 year after its debut in iRacing, and 2 months after its debut in ACC, where it was overpowered as f***, it made its real world debut in the Roar before the 24 last week, and oh boy, it sucked. The pro-entered BMWs were somewhere down in the M field. I suspect this is because of the low top speed the car has. This car has a stupid amount of drag. BMW didn't even try to make it aerodynamic, just look at the insanely big mirrors. They basically copied the mirrors of the road car, while most others use smaller aerodynamic racing mirrors. But the Porsches are known to be down a little on top speed as well, but they stormed to a 2-3 finish in Pro and a 3rd place in AM, so no excuses there. I suspect they'll get a performance buff before the real deal, but so far my research didn't find a trace of that yet. Another big talking point has been the back-to-back GTLM champions Corvette, converting their cars into GT3s for this season. Now the interesting thing is, the cars are not officially homologated as GT3 cars, so they are basically GTE cars with a narrower GT3 front tires fitted and the necessary BOP settings to get them down to GT3 level. It'll be interesting what these cars can do in the race, because like the commentator said,
but you kind of want to hide into nothing there. If you do win it, then everybody's going to say, of course you should have won it because you've got a GTLM car. And if you don't win it, everybody's going to say, why haven't you won it? Because you've got a GTLM car.
They finished the Roar in 6th and 7th in GTD Pro, which is not that bad. Especially because I think IMSA gave them a relatively low BOP to avoid other teams complaining when they get beaten by a car that was originally designed to be 4 seconds a lap faster. Another explanation for the lack of pace could be the way they had to set up the cars. With narrower front tires, they need some significant setup changes to fix the gained understeer. Changes the car wasn't designed to do. My personal favorites of the GT field are the WeatherTech Porsche, as well as the screaming Lexus entries. Who is your favorite? Do you think the M4 will get its seemingly necessary buffs? And is it fair that IMSA allows Corvette to race with GTLMs? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to consider a like and subscription for more content about Endu-Rants and their new top class in the future. The future is bright for us Endu-Rants fans. This was Endu-Rants. See you in the next one.